Good morning, guys. Alrighty, so funny story, and I figured I would come on here and share it because surely I'm not the only one that's experienced this. So about a month ago, I went and got my hair cut like I normally do at the hairstylist, and everything went great. So I thought. So it was a great haircut. I tipped her. It was a great experience until I got home. And when I got home, my kids saw me and they said, "Dad, what happened?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? I got my hair cut." And they said, "Yeah, but somebody gouged you right here on the side." And I went and looked in the mirror, and sure enough, oh my goodness, the lady gouged me. I mean, she cut me down to my scalp, and it was pretty crazy. And I thought, how did she not see that she did that? And of course, why didn't she tell me? And so anyways, a little embarrassing. Took about 2 to 3 weeks to grow out. Well, yesterday came the day to get my hair cut again. And so I went back to the place. Now, some of you may say, "Why did you go back when they scalped you last time?" I don't know. But I went back, and sure enough, it was the actual lady that cut me close last time. She was the one that was there behind the counter. And as soon as she saw me and she pulled up my name and everything, it was like she had seen a ghost. She was just like, because she knew this was the person. And she came clean. She goes, "Hey, I just want to give you a heads up. Like, I'm the one that cut you last time, too close. It was my fault." And I was like, "Listen, not a problem. It's okay. I'm not upset. Hair grows back." I said, obviously if I was bald and it was like my last little sprig that you cut that wasn't coming back, obviously I would have been a little more upset, but we're good. And so, but she told me, she said, "Hey, listen, the head manager is going to be done cutting this person's hair and she can come get you in about 15 minutes. And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "That's fine." I was like, "You can cut my hair." And she was like, "What? Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can cut my hair. That's fine." And it took her a second to process it. Like, okay. And so she's like, "All right." So we went and sat down and she cut my hair again. And there was not a lot of talking at all, I'll be honest. And I think it was probably because she was so focused on not gouging me again. And so anyways, after she finished cutting my hair, she got the mirror like they always do. You know how they stand behind you and say, all right, is this okay?" And so she stood behind me and said, "All right, do you like it? Does it look good?" And I was like, "Yeah, it looks great." And she got to this side and she goes, "What do you think?" And I said, "It looks good." She goes, "No, what do you think? Do you see it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it looks good. You didn't gouge me." And I started laughing. She started laughing, but she was so beaming. I mean, I had never seen a hairstylist beaming as much as she was at the end of that haircut. And I said, "Redemption, I knew you could do it." And anyways, it was a great haircut. I tipped her awesome. And anyways, it was a great haircut. But what happened afterwards was I thought about it and I thought, you know what? Like, I knew that mistake didn't define her. I knew that she doesn't gouge everybody, and maybe she got distracted. Maybe she took her eye off the ball. And I mean, clearly something happened because that doesn't happen all the time. And, the Lord spoke to me that moment and was just like, how many people in my life need to get a second chance? Need somebody to believe in them. Need someone to say, "Hey, listen, that mistake that you made doesn't define you." Sometimes we may get into an environment or a season where we have people in our lives or maybe bad influences in our lives, and we begin to eventually listen to those influences and forget our own value or forget our own identity and make a mistake that's not really who we are. And so my word for you guys is, yes, it's funny. I got gouged. Hey, she did a great job. Now, some of you may disagree, but hey, listen, I'm not asking for your opinion. She did a good job on my haircut. But how many people in our lives do we need to give a second chance to or a third chance to? And I'm just so thankful that I've had people in my life, whether it be my wife, Amy, or my parents or close friends, that were there to forgive me when I messed up, were there to speak life over me, and to call me up out of that situation and help me to rise into the person that God created me to be. So I hope you guys are encouraged by that. And let's look for people to forgive, to speak life over, and to give them that second chance to allow them to rise up to the person that God called them to be. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a great day. Take care.